Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're here with the Wood Elves, going to be joining Durthu, taking on the foul forces of the Tomb Kings. So let's get to the army compositions. You can see out in the skirmish phase, I've got some Sisters of Thorn. We've also got one unit of Way Watchers, the Regiment of Renowned Hawkeyes of Drakira. Very, very strong, especially because they have the Discourage trait on their bows, which means they can rout things off very, very quickly. Of course, Durthu leading the way with Flock of Doom and Sword of Daith. We've got 4 Glade Guard currently opening up shots on these 2 Skeletal Horsemen here. Front line of Eternal Guard with 2 Sword Dancers and a Branch Wraith, who I've currently forgotten in the back. For the Tomb Kings here, you can see the 2 Skeleton Horsemen obviously taking some heat, and leading the way is Khatep, which is not actually a terrible pick in this matchup. He doesn't have a shield, which is a problem, but he's also not flammable. He's the only Tomb King Lord that's not flammable. Granted, he only has 40 armor, or at best 90 on the Chariot, but still, not a bad pick against the Wood Elves. I'm not really sure there's a good pick here, but anyway, Nero's Incantation of Protection. He's also got the Incantation of Vengeance and Skullstorm as well as Sandstorm. So looking for some sweet double Vortex action. We've got the Blessed Legion here, a whole smattering of Skeleton Spearmen. Looks like 3 of them, and 2 Tomb Guard, Kepler Guard, and 1 Tomb Guard with Halberds. We've got 2 Shabti Great Bows, one of which is the Chosen of the Gods, and currently interrupting my Sisters of Thorn on their distraction mission is this unit of Carrion, which actually taken down a couple of unit models there with the help of those Shabti Great Bows, so definitely not a great trade for me. The main idea with these guys was to kind of skirmish if possible, and at most distract. I'm going to be advancing with the rest of my forces here, and I really did not want those Shabti Great Bows shooting at, like, the Hawkeyes, for example, or even worse, Durthu. They can actually do some pretty solid damage to Durthu, but the overwhelming amounts of Glade Guard here are going to just overwhelm the Blessed Legion here. They're not going to want to stand and take this skirmish engagement by any means. My opponent is going to pull them back in just a moment here. Obviously, Starfire Shaft's going to be very good against the Tomb Kings because they're typically weak to fire damage. Their characters, that is. So if you can get a character caught out and just mow them down with Starfire Shafts, can be pretty effective. Likewise, of course, Armor Piercing is going to be good against constructs and just generally useful in this matchup. Yeah, Wood Elves I definitely think have the advantage in this matchup, but the Tomb Kings can definitely bring some things to the table. My opponent's doing a great job skirmishing with these Shabti Great Bows here. He's now prioritizing the Starfire Shafts, which you may think he should be shooting at Durthu, but the Starfires are a serious threat. Just look at these Kepler Guard get torn to shreds by the Starfire Shafts here. Of course, the Kepler Guard are weak to damage since they have the standard regeneration trait, and they also have no missile block chance like standard Tomb Guard do, so they are pretty much worst case scenario fighting or facing against Glade Guards here. But you can see over on the side, I'm doing a pretty bad job of positioning, honestly. My Eternal Guard, who I had pathed over here, actually gets stuck on the edge of this Skeleton Spearman here, and my opponent takes advantage, putting down a very nice Skullstorm there, and the Spearmen are not on station to protect. I use the Smoke Bomb for the Hawkeyes to slow down those Carrion and Skeleton Horsemen, but it's still not quite enough. One of their Eternal Guards is there to intercept, and the Branch Wraith also going to get over here and start dueling this Tomb Prince, which, I mean, the Tomb Prince does have AP. They're kind of middling in stats, both of them, but the Tomb Prince doesn't have a whole lot of armor. The Branch Wraith doesn't either, but it should be an interesting fight nonetheless. But yeah, the Hawkeyes of Drakira getting caught up there by Carrions. Very, very bad. That being said, in the front line, these War Dancers are cleaning shop. They'll cut through Tomb Guard all day. Granted, they will take some losses, but still, it's going to be very good for me. And the Penumbral Pendulum coming down from that Branch Wraith, just going to be cutting through, especially the Scorpion Legion here, who had so far taken very little damage. I've got 2 Eternal Guard blobbed up on top of them, which is pretty inefficient. I really should hook one of them in the back line and get to dealing with the Skeleton Horsemen instead, but still, you know, we're trying to do my best to secure. I've lost 2 units of Glade Guard just from fire from the Shabti Great Bows, and now these Skeleton Horsemen also getting in the back line just don't have enough to protect because I lost those Sisters of Thorn very early on. Probably should have played a lot more conservatively with them in hindsight, but still got plenty of battle left. Going to try and heal up the units in this pocket here. We've got the Hawkeyes or Jakira getting a little bit of that, and these Eternal Guards as well. We're going to need them in the late game here. Khatep's taking quite a bit of damage, but he's still about half HP, so we're going to try and focus fire him down. The Skeleton Horsemen are almost gone, but these Carrion, stupid Carrion with 46 melee defense, are actually surprisingly tanky. Once the Eternal Guard actually get a hold of them, they'll be able to do some good damage, but War Dancers here just getting overwhelmed by numbers of Tomb Guard. They've been able to get 104 kills, just about pick up an XP Chevron, but there's just way too many Tomb Guard for them to deal with. That being said, Durthu is the boss that he is. Just getting in here, cutting up the summoned Ushabti without too much trouble. Another really nice Sandstorm, or Skullstorm. I can never tell the difference between the two. Very nice coming down on those Eternal Guard there. Did some okay damage, but so far the balance power still pretty close, if slightly in my opponent's favor at this point. The War Dancers here have cleaned up some units. We've relatively secured the Hawkeyes and this unit of Glade Guards here, so we're going to start returning fire on the Chosen of the Gods there. See if we can maybe take down a unit model or two before they expend the last of their ammunition. They are just about out of ammunition. The Blessed Legion was able to survive until the late game there, and is also just about out of ammo. But Khatep, despite the fact that these are sword dancers, he still doesn't want to take this because he has super low armor, and the sword dancers just have great stats. They'll be able to cut through him pretty easy, but we're going to actually just path them through and go after the Blessed Legion. But Khatep takes a nasty volley there from the Hawkeyes and from those Glade Guards there, and he's very low at this point, so that's going to bring the bounce power back a little bit. We've got Sword of Daith on Durthu, it looks like. So as he runs by, he'll do a little bit of damage there, but another Earthblood going down from the Branch Wraith in the front line, trying to keep these War Dancers online as long as possible. They've actually hung around and racked up 123 kills now. They've been able to keep those Tomb Guard pinned in for quite some time. The other War Dancer got in the back line, cutting through this Regiment of Renown unit of archers is very, very cost-effective. I think the Regiment of Renown is something like 900 points, if I remember right, so very cost-effective use of these War Dancers here, even if they do get routed off by the friendly Discourage from the Hawkeyes there. Bit unfortunate, but nonetheless, still very, very close battle. Anyone's game at this point, but Durthu's got his sights set on the Prince, despite the fact that the Prince has anti-large AP. I mean, Durthu's Durthu. He just has amazing combat stats, 73 attack in particular when he's got that Frenzy active, and he does have Frenzy, so that gives him a significant buff, and yeah, his weapon strength is also just higher overall, so he'll be able to put down a beating on this Tomb Prince. And it's not going to be great. He'll take some damage, but he definitely will win that. Another Skull Storm going down. Very good stuff. The Branch Wraith getting routed off along with those War Dancers. Bit unfortunate. I'm going to lose what's left of my healing, so any damage done to Durthu at this point is pretty much honest. But you can see the Tomb Prince is just getting whomped on by Durthu. It's a bad day for this Tomb Prince, and he's just about to go down here. He's got just barely a little bit of health left, and he is indeed crumbling. So yeah, at this point, in terms of an overarching view, we've got some Hawkeyes or Jakira tangled up with what's left of the Skeleton Horsemen, which is not great. A few rallied War Dancers over here. The Chosen of the Gods just came over and finished off some Glade Guards, and it looks like they've lost their order, but they're still online if out of ammo. We've got one more unit of Glade Guard coming back from route there in the rear, but it's pretty much going to be mostly up to Durthu at this point. I'm like, okay, so we need to do something here to try and pull this back. I'm a little bit behind on the balance of power. The Hawkeyes or Jakira, unfortunately, are getting compromised again by Ushabti, so I'm going to try and pull back towards some support here and drop a Sword of Daith as I'm going. I also want to try and get some Winds of Magic here with Durthu to get some Flock of Dooms to help finish this off. You can see that Sword of Daith going down, and it is going to do some damage to these guys as they run by here. So you can see those Skeleton Spearmen and the Tomb Guard taking some good damage there, which is always nice. These Glade Guards still trying to finish off that Tomb Prince. There's only 20 of them left, so they're really not able to do a whole lot. But the Hawkeyes or Jakira, only 6 of them, but they also are not shattered at this point, so they can potentially come back from route and help us out in the late game here. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very close fight into the late game here. You can see the bounce power still dead even, still a full 5 minutes left on the battle, so strap yourselves in, folks, grab some popcorn. It's going to be a close one. You can see Khatep coming forward, although the Hawkeyes or Jakira rally just in time here to start loosing some shots at him. Despite the fact there's only 6 of them, they're going to do some Last Samurai action as Khatep comes running in here. I've got the War Dancers also coming to try and support, but that last volley was enough to send Khatep into crumbling, and he's going to get in here and promptly fall over. So with him down, the Tomb Prince is going to start wavering. We're going to try and hit him with a couple shots here so he gets that Discourage, which is enough to send him into crumbling, so we're able to get a little bit of free damage there. And yeah, at this point, Durthu's duking it out with the Ushabti Greatbows here. Again, I'm going to try and pull away from this engagement because I want to try and finish off the leadership here. The balance power is tipped in my favor now with the loss of Khatep, and this Tomb Prince is also going to crumble away there. So with the loss of leadership, the balance power is going to tip in my favor. So we'll fast forward a little bit as I try and get to an appropriate place. The Hawkeyes of Jakira able to get a little bit of supporting fire, but they're just so low on leadership they rout away. But we do get a nice block of Doom here, going to just about finish off these Tomb Guard, and now it's just just Durthu pretty much fighting against the Chosen of the Gods here. The other unit of Ushabti went to go chase off the Hawkeyes, make sure they don't come back. This unit of War Dancers, and we also have some scattered Eternal Guard that are also coming back from rout. We're going to try and rally them together. There's still one more almost full health unit of Tomb Guard with 110 kills against the Wood Elves nonetheless, which is definitely no mean feat. But Chosen of the Gods at this point are crumbling. They just can't stand up to the raw damage that Durthu puts out. He's going to be able to cut through these Ushabti without too much issue here. Take a little bit of damage, but in this late game situation with the balance of power being so far in my favor, it'll be relatively safe. Although again, the Ushabti do armor piercing and melee, so they will be able to get a little bit of damage done. But the Hawkeyes of Jakira, these 6 Hawkeyes, just back for more one more time, going to be losing a few more shots over at those Ushabti Greatbows. Granted, as soon as the Ushabti Greatbows start to run over here, they'll just run away. But if we can maybe send them into crumbling, it looks like none of those shots actually made contact, unfortunately. So we did not get the Discourage effect off, which may have sent them into crumbling, but now we do get it. It doesn't look like it's quite enough to make them crumble at this point, but the last of the War Dancers came in, got a few more kills, managed to get past an XP Chevron. The Tomb Guard are about 2/3 HP, give or take, but yep, the Hawkeyes look like they've given up the fight, and so let's fast forward a little bit more as we get to the final stand here. Durthu and this last couple units of Eternal Guard here that are extremely tattered. Got another Flock of Doom going down, and now the Eternal Guards. Not sure why my opponent decided to path the Ushabti after the Eternal Guards, but their anti-large AP is going to allow them to do a bit of damage here, although they will definitely get taken down just because there's so few of them and just the heavy damage from the Ushabti, but they'll be able to do some damage in return. Meanwhile, Durthu's using his Sword of Daith, both the magical effect and in melee, of course, to chop through these these Tomb Guard here, sending them on a ride all the way back to Nehekara. And one last Flock of Doom here should be enough to finish things off. Those Eternal Guard did rout, but Durthu's just about finished off these Tomb Guard. We decided to turn the attention over to the Ushabti, and with the Tomb Guard gone, the Ushabti just can't sustain their magic, and they're going to fall over dead. So, whew, very close battle, very fun battle, very well played to my opponent, despite the fact of his name. He still played very, very well, and yeah, definitely caught me out quite well in a few different moments there. It was a fun battle. It ended up being super close in the end, but Durthu just taking out the win, just an absolute OG. Always been one of the best lords for the Wood Elves, and always a nice stealth pick too. I had considered bringing the Firebark Elders in this matchup because they do fire damage. They also have really good melee defense, but I was concerned they would have got shot up by Ushabti Greatbows. I feel like my fear is a little bit justified, although because the Ushabti Greatbows were focused on my archers so much, they may have been a safe pick. The Hawkeyes of Jakira underperformed a little bit, although they were pretty key in that late game situation to help finish off some of those targets. That Discourage effect to set them into crumbling. We saw that a number of times there in that late game situation, so that in and of itself was pretty useful, but the unit I still don't think paid for itself. So that's more so that I didn't protect it very well rather than that the unit's not very good, because it is certainly a very powerful regiment of renown. I just didn't play it particularly well. But the 2 War Dancers getting in there, cutting up Tomb Guard and Skeleton Spears, both of them racked up quite a few kills. The Eternal Guard, you know, they kind of got munched on by Tomb Guard a little bit, but they were able to help out in the late game, help take down some of those constructs. And yeah, Khatep himself, 115, not too bad with the double Skull Storm. I actually think he was only using his bound one. I don't think I ever saw him use the actual spell. I think that all 3 that we saw there were all the bound one. You guys will have to correct me if you know. But anyway, I kind of like the pick of Khatep in this matchup, honestly. I probably would have put him on the Chariot just to give him a bit more armor, and it also makes him more escapable if he gets caught by Wood Elf infantry. Because they're so light, he can pull away with the Chariot because it has better mass and better impact damage. So you know, food for thought, but I definitely like the pick of Khatep, certainly. If my opponent had just gone with a more heavy missile build, it may have paid off, although honestly it almost paid off just regardless. I know he was pretty aggressive in focusing down my Glade Guard with good reason, and that unfortunately left him with not enough tools to deal with Durthu. I definitely would have cut the Kepler Guard. I don't think they really have a place in this matchup because they don't have a missile block chance, and they're weak to fire damage, so you guys saw, they'll just get gatted by Starfire Shafts, just absolutely gatted. So I definitely would cut them, and in their place maybe grab another Tomb Guard, maybe you grab a melee Ushabti to kind of saturate in with Durthu and deal armor-piercing damage to him. You know, there's a number of different things you could do to try and help deal some extra damage to Durthu. You know, maybe you grab a couple of extra skeleton archers to trade with the Glade Guards so that then your Ushabti Greatbows can focus on Durthu himself. But obviously, hindsight's 2020. Still a very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.